Hello, listeners, creepers, dudes, and dudettes. Welcome to episode 15 of Grumpy X Sunshine. That's not 3 X's, but we do come with a parental advisory. I'm Storm, aka Grumpy, if you couldn't tell.
I'm Lady, aka Sunshine. Hello.
Today we're doing some cryptids of creepypasta.
Slender Daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy Long Legs.
Creepypastas turned into cryptids.
Slender Dad. Sorry.
No, you're not.
We were looking up the different types of nicknames for Slenderman.
Daddy
What is
Long
his name?
Legs. Slenderman.
It is Slenderman.
Yes.
Very tired. Sorry.
It's okay.
Hmm?
Lady was taking a nap when I came in today.
Took a fucking picture of me.
Yeah.
Everyone always likes taking fucking pictures of me sleeping, and I fucking hate it.
It was actually kind of funny because you were sleeping with your legs up
Oh yeah.
on the back of the couch.
Yeah.
It was real weird.
I get comfortable. You know?
Don't know how that's comfortable. Just means you're true bisexual.
But
But
also
what?
really healthy for you to sleep with your legs elevated. It helps your heart not have to work as hard while you're resting. It's easier for blood return from your lower extremities.
Still a weirdo. Anyways.
Okay.
You're welcome. So today we're talking about Slenderman. So let's get into the basics. He is a, quote, monster to have been reported for centuries. Okay.
Okay.
Known as the Dark Man in Scotland, the Branch Man, the Gross Man, otherwise known as the Tall Man in German, and possibly the story of Der Ritter, the Knight from 14th century Germany.
Okay, so when someone wrote the creepy pasta about Slenderman, it was from...
It could have been based on any of these.
Okay.
Yeah. Like loosely based. Probably not exactly based, okay?
Okay.
Wikipedia says that Slenderman is a fictional supernatural character that originated as a creepypasta internet meme created by Something Awful forum user Eric Kunst in 2009. He is depicted as a thin, unnaturally tall humanoid with featureless white head and face wearing a black suit.
So
Okay.
it's kind of like the Rake, a Wendigo
Yeah.
in a suit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, there's a fandom wiki for Slenderman, and it's linked to the Rake.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Wikipedia later goes on to say that its first appearance was June 10th, 2009, so Slenderman is a Gemini.
That's actually so funny.
You're welcome. Said it was during a contest and that the goal of the contest was to alter photographs to make them show something supernatural. And when he uploaded them, he uploaded 2 black and white photos with this creature in the back. Fandom Wiki Slenderman says that he generally appears in modern times as tall humanoid creature in a black or gray suit, red or black tie, and a white shirt. His face is totally white, completely devoid of facial features. He has no hair, generally has a normal-looking bare hands, a bit with fingers longer and bonier than a typical human. Slenderman has depicted in imagery and literature at anywhere between 6 and 15 feet tall, depending on the situation, though in videos he's usually around 6 to 7 feet tall. So one tall motherfucker.
So a video game that me and Storm both actively play called, well, you don't really play it anymore, but it's called Phasmophobia.
I used to.
And one of their kind of newer maps, not their newest one, Slenderman will make his appearance all the time.
Sometimes. I thought it was sometimes.
It's a lot more often now than what it used to be.
Okay.
It's like 60% of the time.
I kind of want to play again, but at the same time, I'm like, eh.
I really want you to play just so you can play Point Hope and get the Ferryman of the Dead, so you can be like a level 0 with like Ferryman of the Dead. Just think that'd be great. But
I'm not a level 0.
It's on, I think he pops up in Camp Woodwind too,
Okay.
but at Maplewood Lodge. It's one of the like I said, newer maps.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting off the truck and you look to your left, he's kind of like in this opening in the woods. And I think in the game, they have him set so he's about like 16 feet tall, but he's all white in a black and white suit with a black tie. Well,
Okay.
a black suit, white shirt, black tie.
I've seen a lot where he has a striped black suit. Like a black suit with white stripes on it.
I've only ever seen the black suit, white undershirt,
Mm-hmm.
and black tie.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also seen a lot where it kind of has like the resemblance of like, you can see like a hollowed out area for where the eyes are supposed to be, but it's still just plain white. But you can kind of see the detail of like, this is where the eyes would be if he had some.
Yeah.
And I also usually see him with tentacles coming out of his back.
I don't normally see him with tentacles coming out of his back. I have, but I haven't normally seen it. Fandom Wiki Slenderman then goes on to say, because of his inact nature and difference between accounts, no one has yet determined what exactly a Slenderman is. Currently, there are two leading theories as to what the Slenderman may be: the Tulpa effect and the quantum theory. Then goes on to say the internet popularity of Slenderman has spawned a massive number of interconnected ARGs, which is alternate reality games, collectively known as the Slenderman mythos.
Oh, that's the one that I was telling you about for one of the SCPs.
Okay.
I can't remember the number, but it was one that screams when he sees the people and he goes after them.
Yeah.
Okay, it's those types of games.
Okay.
I couldn't find the name of them. I apologize. I didn't look that deep.
You're good. Okay, so mentioned two theories here. The Tulpa effect, so the first one we mentioned. It's a theory on the creation and existence of Slenderman. Tulpas and egregores are thought forms, or beings created from collective thoughts and beliefs of separate individuals, egregore, or by an individual alone, tulpa.
Wasn't that in a video of Sam Colby, the elemental?
Possibly. Elementals are supposed to be very, very old.
Oh, they only get their power if they're believed in. It's kind of like a Santa Claus type of shit.
Kind of.
Okay, so this is different.
Sort of?
This is created by belief, whereas the elemental just gets power from belief.
Yes.
Okay, alright, got it.
Elementals are very, very old, though. Like, elementals are, like,
one
old.
Of the first things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The concept of these thought forms are theoretical in nature and origins. From the Tibetan Buddhist mythology, mysticism, estrocism, and occultism, where the tulpas and egregores are described as extra etheric bodies that were created from one person's unconscious slash subconscious slash conscious mind energy in order to travel to spirit realms or the astral.
Okay.
Okay. So the tulpa and slash egregore effect is the name given to the unintentional or intentional creation of a tulpa slash egregore based on a collective or individual belief of a being with similar traits. So somebody writes a book and it's titled Cthulhu. Okay. And then Cthulhu comes to existence because of this book.
Okay. I think Cthulhu was a bad example of it, but I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean. So the quantum theory is a central theory to explain the apparent supernatural nature of Slenderman. This is a competitor to the core theory and the tulpa effect. Quantum theory is based around the idea that Slenderman is a physical subtreme, not a thought form. So instead of like the tulpa effect where he's like more of a spiritual being, this one's more he is a physical form, right?
Okay.
Whose existence and powers are in part relevant reliant on physics and understood science. Slender walking can be attributed to both of these theories. This explanation seeks a physical explanation and not a pseudoscientific explanation for Slenderman. So they're talking as if like Slenderman was physical, like born monster and created. This is the theory of like, instead of ghosts, it's like, oh, he's like a megalodon. You know, we're not really sure about him. Megalodons used to exist. They don't exist anymore that I'm aware of.
Megalodons are just dinosaur sharks. They went extinct.
Yeah.
And then the sharks that we know nowadays were kind of from them.
Yeah. Some people believe that they still exist.
Yeah, they do.
They do exist, or
No, it's a lot. I was just agreeing with you. Oh, sorry for that rumbling. I have a new cat.
and the cat just walked over.
She's an old ratty girl, and we love her. We don't have a name for her yet, but we've been calling her Bindi. She's a sweetheart, for the most part. Just don't touch her toes.
Bindy's letting me pet her.
She loves people. My dog and her are getting kind of used to each other. They're getting there.
She's showing me her butthole.
I know.
It's strange. I don't like it.
It's a cat for you. She's exploring right now. She's hanging out in the office with us. So you might hear her rumbling. Sorry. Anyways, what was it saying? Oh yeah. Okay. So their theory on like the megalodon, they think that it's still real. I've seen a lot saying that in the Mariana Trench, there's this like pocket of kind of like warm. It's from gases and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where they believe that the megalodons are hiding. I don't know how to feel about it. I'm not gonna say that like, yeah, no, megalodons definitely don't exist. We haven't explored the ocean. You know, there's still
There's so much left of the ocean.
But I don't think the theory of them existing in the Mariana Trench is true, just because at that level, the pressure I think would be too much on
I don't know.
something like a megalodon.
I don't know. Because there's stuff that still exists in the Marianas Trench.
Yeah, but
Do I think a megalodon's there? I don't know. I'm not gonna rule it out.
Megalodons have the structure. I'm not saying that megalodons don't exist.
Have you ever seen, you know that fish with the light bulb?
Yeah, the anglerfish.
That's what I thought it was called, but I wasn't 100% sure. Have you seen how actually fucking big they are?
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Oh my god. I thought they were small.
Unless they were able to quickly evolve their structures to be able to handle being at that depth.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think they're living in the Mariana Trench. I just think they're living in places that we haven't been able to explore yet, which is everywhere.
Well, like, there's, like, giant squids and shit. Like, I can't... You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, giant squids are gelatinous.
I just think that... Where are they? They're not in the Marianas Trench. They're just deep there in the ocean.
Yeah, giant squids are bottom feeders. Well, no, I mean, but they live at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, so I just think, like... Not that we could... The ocean is so big, I think that just, like, we just don't fucking see them, that's all.
Yeah, I don't doubt that they could still be... I do kind of doubt that they could still be real. I mean, I don't... I think there's enough scientific evidence that they're not, but I also think that there's enough doubt to be there to question their existence.
The ocean's just really big and kind of scary.
The ocean is terrifying.
Oh my god, yeah.
Have you heard of what Point Nemo is?
No.
Point Nemo is the farthest you could be away from any point of land, away from any other human soul. You were in basically the center of an ocean.
The Pacific Ocean?
I'm not exactly sure which one, but you were at the center of the ocean, and that is the farthest anyone can be away from Anyone. The closest person to you would be someone in space.
Jesus.
That's what Point Nemo is.
Jesus.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Well then, the core theory, back to Slenderman. The core theory is a central theory created by Slender Nation on the wiki and forum that uses input from many users to collaboratively create a series of universal properties to Slenderman between mythos, ARG, and various other canons. This theory is based mostly around the hypothetical existence of the Talpa effect and acts as an inner universe reasoning as the creation of Slenderman in each individual series, describing them as Talpa created by the series protagonist, right? So the core theory is essentially like, what's canon? What's actually canon versus each Talpa itself?
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So, Slender Nation. Slender Nation is a forum webpage that you have to register like to get into, and it has over 2,000 members registered to it. Not many over 2,000, but just a little bit over 2,000. It is at slendernation.4motion.com, and honestly, you can go there, but I wouldn't personally click on any links there. The Slender Nation has 3 main Slenderman mythos, general discussion subforums.
His little honking. He really wants to be her friend.
Hi, Cat.
Oh, if anyone has any name suggestions, that'd be cool. She's an old ratty girl. My husband wants something anime themed. Our dog's name is Akamaru.
Yeah.
So it's very anime themed. He would like an anime cat name. I don't know what I want to name her. She's kind of a bitch, but we love her. You know, she's just an old ratty lady. You know,
Yeah.
She wants to live her life. We've considered Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my dog is losing his mind.
I should shut that door. Okay. Where were we?
Side rails.
Okay. Slender Nation has 3 main Slenderman mythos, general discussion subforums, the Slenderman mythos, the Slenderman media, and the Slenderman roleplay.
Oh.
That's from Fandom Wiki Slenderman. I want to know what the roleplay is. I'm like intrigued, but I don't want to like dive into it.
No.
No. We got a description and abilities coming up. So the description of Slenderman slightly varies. Description of abilities varies a bit greater. They're described as male humanoid that is normally tall with totally blank face and long limbs, as well as wearing a business suit. Whether this is clothing or skin shaped like clothing is debated. His necktie is probably his manly member if it is skin.
His necktie is his dick?
If it is skin, that's just a little storm input.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like a thing. Okay.
No, that's just a little storm input.
If his necktie is skin, it's gonna be his penis.
Probably. I mean, what else would it be? Where else would his dick go?
I don't think he's supposed to have a dick.
He's humanoid, isn't he? Or do you think it's under all the skin flaps that look like clothing?
Maybe it's like he can just like grow it.
You don't think Slenderman gets a little nasty?
I don't doubt he gets nasty, but I don't know. I don't think of him having a penis.
Yeah.
I don't know. I reject your idea that the necktie is a penis.
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah. Well, okay. I just feel like...
Do you know where that's from?
No.
Mythbusters.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's from Adam Savage.
I just think that Slenderman is a very proper type of, like, you know...
Monster?
Yeah.
I think Slenderman can get bitches.
I don't doubt it. if you are willing to fuck a Wendigo, I'm sure many people want to fuck Slenderman.
I would.
But I feel like if you were to ever meet Slenderman, he's kind of like... Have you ever seen Black Butler?
Yes.
He's kind of like the butler. He's very proper. He's cold-hearted. Has no fucks and like he does not care about anything.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's gonna put his penis on his chest and just like flush everyone 24/7. I don't think that'd be what he'd do.
Well, we're talking about Slenderman as like a monster. Like he might not necessarily have that choice, and that's just how it goes. Like that's just where it grew.
I thought all like the fan fiction of him fucking people was his tentacles, and
I didn't look up fan fiction of him.
did she just drop down? Oh no,
She's
she's
up there.
popped up. I found your ears.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I have a feeling that's I don't
Which I
think
didn't
it's
even
penis.
think about the tentacles. Now I'm even more interested.
Of course you are. But
Storm
I
loves
feel
a
like
good
Slenderman
tentacle.
can kind of control his appearance, right? He chose to put on the suit and tie. You know, he chose to make
Yeah, but
his skin look like a suit and tie.
This is the thing that's like, well, here's the other thing. They're not sure if it's like changeable, like his outer skin is like a changing force, or if it's his evolution.
His evolution?
Yeah, like his evolution made it so he was wearing like what looked like a suit and tie.
Isn't him evolving kind of choosing what he wants his appearance to look like?
Not necessarily. Think about evolution. Why do humans have butt crack hair? We don't choose that.
No, but you want that.
Why?
It's to it keeps bacteria out, kind of helps keep odor in, prevents you from chafing. There's many reasons why we developed butt hair.
Well, I don't want butt hair.
You want to chafe all the time?
I could put powder.
You want to constantly have to be powdering your ass? That's why we developed butt hair, so that you
I
didn't
don't-
have to constantly be powdering your asshole.
I'd rather powder.
Okay, I don't want to powder.
I guess we just pick different evolutions then.
I feel like if Slenderman is supposed to... I don't know. I feel like... I guess it is based on whatever you want your canon to be. He's still technically fictional. So if you want your canon to be that the tie is his penis, go ahead. But in my canon, he's kind of like Black Butler-esque.
Either
like
way.
a demon.
Either way.
I think he decided
you
to put on
think-
the suit so he'd be less threatening.
Do you think he actually has a mouth that he can open? It's just that he closes his face and his lips are so small, like a normal white person, that you just can't tell where his mouth is?
No, I don't think he has
You just glazed over.
a normal white person. No, I don't think he has a mouth.
Okay.
I think he can. You know what? Actually, I do think he has a mouth
Where?
where a mouth should be.
Okay.
But I think he just chooses to keep it sealed unless he's eating,
Okay.
and then he'll like. But I think he uses like thoughts to talk.
Okay.
He'll talk in your brain, adds to the creep factor as he's like stalking you through the woods.
Okay.
You just hear him talking to you in your head.
Because if his manlyhood was his necktie, and he does have a mouth,
He could suck his own dick. Is that where you're getting at?
no.
Oh,
But that would be great time.
anyways, if
It said it said he's very hard to describe. Like his existence is on another plane, so like you can't describe it because he's not on this plane of existence. So
well, if he's created by thoughts, then
it adds to the mystery.
but if he's created by thoughts, isn't he on this plane then? Because without this plane's thoughts, he wouldn't exist.
Technically, no, because art. That's going into a deeper question.
Well, let's get deep. Are
Okay.
your thoughts on a whole different plane?
That would be the first question.
Or
Well,
okay, here's a better one. Do you define different realities as different planes, or can you have different planes in the same reality?
different planes in the same reality.
Okay.
That's what I define it as, at least.
So are you saying he's like on like a spirit, like
More
when
of
we're
a
talking about, like,
spiritual
ghosts, they're on a different plane?
Yeah.
But I think if he's created from our thoughts,
I think he could have, essentially our thoughts would be on a spiritual plane, right?
Mhm.
Where we would be 4D, maybe spiritual plane is 5D, right? So I think our thoughts could potentially be 5D. Our physical form is 4D. Okay. With
Okay.
me so far? So our thoughts create this 5D creature that can then cross into 4D reality.
I mean, we can even get on a different subject of what was his other, what could he potentially be based off of?
There's like 4 different.
But they're basically the same thing, right?
The Dark Man in Scotland, the Branch Man. I don't have a link. I don't have a country for that origin. The Gross Man, or the Tall Man in Germany, and possibly this story of Der Ritter, the Knight from the 14th century Germany.
Okay, so if we're saying he's like the Dark Man in Scotland, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the Dark Man in Scotland's kind of closer to saying like what a banshee is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like mythology. We don't.
I
know
didn't
for
look
sure.
too deep into him. Yeah.
I would say then, yeah, he's on a different plane of existence, and he's evolved into what our thoughts have made him to be.
Okay.
He's gained power from that and kind of evolved into what we created him to be.
Okay.
But if he is something created from our own thoughts, I just feel like he'd be
More physical plane.
yeah. Well, I guess wouldn't be like a physical plane, but he wouldn't be a plane that's like untouchable from us.
Well, ghosts aren't in a plane that's untouchable from us.
I think I'm not on the same page of you from your, what was your last sentence?
Well, ghosts aren't
Reading.
necessarily.
No.
He's very hard to describe. Like his existence is on another plane.
I feel like if he's gonna be on another plane, wouldn't he be on the same plane as like ghosts and stuff? Because technically, ghosts are created out of our own thoughts as well.
Sort of.
We miss. I mean, when you think about all these stories of like haunted
But
houses
they aren't
and stuff.
They aren't necessarily made from our own thoughts. They're
Well, no, ghosts are
energy.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I feel like we still give them power when
Yeah.
our thoughts give them power, I guess. But
Well, think about how your thoughts are. Your thoughts are energy forms.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's
So
the
how
more
is
you
it- but
think
how is
about
he
it,
so,
the
like-
more you gift that energy to it.
Yeah. But would he really be on like a whole different plane, a plane that's like,
Different plane, same reality.
but we can't describe him. He's in this like,
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like how people see ghosts sometimes, and they see them as like real fuzzy. They're hard to describe because they're fuzzy. You're not gonna get every single detail of them.
I think I'm putting too much emphasis on a different plane. I feel like it makes me think that they're like untouchable,
Yeah.
even though he is touchable.
I mean, people don't generally go up and touch them.
He touches people.
Sometimes, yeah.
I made him seem like a pervert. Apologies.
Especially because a large group of his victims are kids.
Oh god.
In all the stories.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't go too deep like I said, I didn't go too deep into it. But in some of the German folklore, he goes after bad children.
So he's like a Krampus.
Kind of.
He's like one of those little scary stories that you tell your kids, and it's like, well, if you're you're being bad, the little monster's gonna come get you.
Yeah.
It's a little punishment.
I think that's what Slenderman was based off of.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, nowadays it's, like, teenagers and stuff like that.
I'm gonna tell my kids
Yeah.
that if they're naughty, the fairies are gonna come take them and swap them out with changelings.
Jesus.
I know it's complete opposite of what actually happens, but I'm gonna tell them that if you act naughty, the fairies are gonna come get you.
Oh my goodness.
They like the naughty ones.
They're more fun.
My kids are gonna start acting up just so they can get abducted by fairies. I could see that.
Oh, do you know most fairies, if they weren't using glamour, you would almost die instantly from a heart attack from being so scared?
Isn't that how angels are?
Mm.
That's why anytime you hear about Gabriel coming down, he says, "Do not fear." It's because he's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
He has to speak the calmness into people.
Yeah, they have like dozens of eyeballs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gabriel is the one that has a bunch of rings around it, and it's just a giant eyeball with the rings of eyeballs around it.
Yeah, super creepy. Anyways, he's almost never been portrayed as being of good intent.
Okay.
Right? He's always like malicious. He's said to stalk his victims for long periods of time, torturing them mentally and leading them to insanity. Some cases, it's almost like he's possessing them in a way, causing them to do actions, have hallucinations, and nightmares that they wouldn't normally have.
Okay.
No one has ever satisfyingly explained how or why he chooses his victims or his purpose. There's speculation the more understanding you have of Slenderman, the more likely you are to be the next victim. Which, by the way, is a fucking terrifying thing to read and have to type in a room alone at my house in almost darkness. Just saying. Just saying.
So sorry.
No, you're not. And it's possible that it's almost contagious, but more so diving into the mythos in almost obsessive manners. Writing this sentence was a little bit better.
Okay, so if you're going into it with this like obsessive, I need to know about Slenderman, that's when Slenderman kind of summons himself to you.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes back to the thought, though, right?
Yeah, the egregore, sort of.
Okay.
Or the telpa. Possibly having multiple victims at once is kind of like omnipresent theory. Originally in Slenderman's lore, he would stalk his victims, impale them on trees, and take their organs pretty quickly. It's only more recently that he takes so long to come in for the kill. More modernly, it doesn't work well with your recording equipment, like causing TVs to go like all staticky and shit like that, which can vary depending on his aggression level and how close he is to his victim. So like if he's just beginning to stalk you, maybe you get a little bit of snow, but if he's been stalking you for a while, there's going to be a lot more static, stuff like that.
Our lights have been flickering a lot lately.
Okay. Terrifying.
I also don't think about Slenderman at all, so I don't think it's Slenderman. But every time it happens, Quantum just looks up and goes, "Oh, rude."
Big yawn. Bigger yawn.
You just are silencing yourself. I'm not. Take my yawn.
Original abilities include invisibility to adults that don't have cameras, change height and body shape arms into tentacles,
Invisibility to adults?
Yeah.
Oh, because it only goes after kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And or sprouting tentacles like appendages. So they're independently movable.
Stop it.
As we come back to Storm loves a good tentacle.
We should just have a horny Storm segment. That should be our next chaos. Just talking about all the mythical creatures that you would fuck. We'll have like a Markiplier list.
Oh my god,
and you'll tell me smash or pass.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Not the next one, but the one after that. Okay.
I'll make a list with descriptions of each of them.
More modernly, I mentioned the recording equipment not being able to pick him up. There's also slender walking, a term created to describe Slenderman's almost teleportation-like warping between locations. Some views see him as walking impaired, while he can teleport over a dozen times in just a few seconds. He's quick with it. What? What?
Expecting you to say that he's quick with it. Okay.
And mentioning this ability to track targets no matter where they hide or go.
Okay.
So, it's a little bit about Slenderman.
Well, I have
Omnipresent.
I have a story.
Storm would love to mount that.
Stop. All right, so we're gonna flash back to May 31st, 2014.
Ladies reading off of Wikipedia.
Shut. Why would you say that?
Why wouldn't I?
Oh, May 31st, 2014, and I'm also using my own knowledge of this case.
Yeah.
It was we were 14 years old when this case happened. We were the same age as these girls.
Yeah.
We
were what, freshmen?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess we weren't the same age. The girls were like 12, so I guess it's not the same age. But
yeah, we were like freshmen or sophomores.
Anyone who was older than 10 years old should remember this case. All right, we're gonna flash back to May 31st, 2014 in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Two 12-year-old girls, Anissa Wire and Morgan Gaser, and I'm not going to use the victim's actual name, I'm going to use her nickname, Bella. Mm-hmm. They all were having a little sleepover, and Anissa and Morgan decided to lure Bella into the woods under the guise of playing hide and seek. And it is there that they decided that they were going to kill their friend to sacrifice her to Slenderman himself. Morgan and Anissa are basically self-proclaimed Slenderman diehards. They're little groupies. They wanted to appease Slenderman and give him an offering. So they, again, lured Bella into the woods and stabbed her 19 times. She was stabbed in the arms, legs, and torso. 2 wounds were to major organs, and 1 stab wound missed a major artery by less than a millimeter. Another went through her diaphragm, and the 2 major organs that were cut were her liver and stomach.
Jesus.
After they attacked poor Bella, they told her to lie down while they went and found help. Which they never did. They were never going to find help.
What the fuck?
Bella ended up dragging herself to a nearby road. She was found by a cyclist, and surgeons had to operate on her for 6 hours to repair all the trauma that she faced. 5 hours after the attack, Morgan and Anissa, or Anissa, I'm going to call her Anissa, I'm sorry, I don't know the actual pronunciation of it.
Oh, I don't know it. So.
Morgan and Anissa were apprehended by police. They had the knife on them still. They said that they were traveling to meet Slenderman at his home, called Slender Mansion, in the Nicollet National Forest, 200 miles away from where they were apprehended. And during their interrogations, which were not conducted with a guardian or counsel with them.
On purpose?
I'm not sure if it was on purpose or if it was just so blatantly obvious that these girls were the ones that they just sat down and started talking. And they're also 12 years old, so I'm sure they didn't mind holding back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, during the interrogations, they described Morgan as displaying no empathy, whereas Anissa had guilt for stabbing Bella, although they both stated that the attack was necessary to appease Slenderman. Bella ended up leaving the hospital 7 days after the attack, and she did return to school September of that same year.
So she survived?
Oh yeah. She's
okay.
Alive and well.
Good.
She's a little fighter. We love her. So, on Morgan's mental state. Oh, I should probably tell you what they were sentenced to. Ha 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 ha. So, both of them were found not guilty by mental disease or defect, and they were, instead of going to jail, they were committed to a mental health institutions. Both of them were committed to separate ones.
Okay.
Anissa received a sentence of 25 years to life, and Morgan received a sentence of 40 years to life.
Morgan was the one that didn't
have any empathy at all.
Okay.
It seemed like Morgan was the ringleader.
Okay.
And Anissa seemed more of a follower. Just doing whatever Morgan told her to do.
I will say at that age, because they were what, 13 or something?
Yeah. No, 12. Yeah.
12. At that age, we had a friend that I could see doing that to me. Which is terrifying to think about.
After 7 years in custody, Anissa was granted early release. Oh, okay, yeah, Anissa was released.
Okay.
I thought it said Anissa would be able to get released after 37. But no, it's Anissa was granted early release and will be under the supervision until age 37.
Okay.
So Anissa only spent 7 years in the mental institution. We're going to talk about Morgan's mental state now.
I hope that Bella girl's like, I know she got out of surgery and like went back, but I hope she's okay now.
From my understanding, she still struggles with PTSD.
Understandably.
But she had a lot of support.
Good.
When she came home. She had a lot of support not only from the community, from her family. She had a very loving family.
Good.
So, I can't imagine going through something like that, but she's a fighter. I think she's even done interviews, but she doesn't really like talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So during the police investigation and pre-trial psychiatric evaluations, Morgan disclosed that she had lifelong visual and auditory hallucinations. She stated that they began in early childhood, and these hallucinations typically included figures that she interpreted as ghosts. There was also colors melting down the walls, imaginary friends named Maggie and Seb, and one reoccurring hallucination that she had was a man Morgan had named It, whose body she described as the color of smoke and ink. She perceived him as standing behind her in mirrors and shifting around corners, so it's kind of like a shadow man, just popping up places. After Morgan's arrest, her mother described her as becoming floridly psychotic. Floridly psychotic.
Like from Florida?
I have no clue if I'm being 100% honest with you. I don't know what that means. The correctional officers reported that Morgan was frequently talking to herself, pretending to be a cat, and keeping ants as pets. She was a weird one. She was a weirdo. She reported seeing unicorns and believed she was having ongoing conversations with Slenderman and other fictional characters such as Severus Snape.
Okay, then.
So in the fall of 2014, Morgan was relocated to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute to determine if she was competent to stand trial. And October 22nd, 2014, she was diagnosed with early onset childhood schizophrenia. Morgan's treatment for schizophrenia was erratic and inadequate for 19 months, which is believed to have been to have exacerbated her regressions into psychosis.
What do you mean?
So, I'm assuming they were doing more of the
like they were doing more harm than good while trying to treat her.
So one treatment that a lot of people like to use is insulin overdoses, basically. They pump you full of insulin, cause you to have a seizure, and it's supposed to mellow out your brain. The seizure activity will
fry it.
combat. And that was a very common treatment for schizophrenia. They would pump you full of insulin, cause you to have a seizure in hopes that it would rewire your brain, basically.
Okay.
And inadequate probably refers to she wasn't getting any therapy or actual medications for it.
Okay.
So doing this caused her to constantly go back into psychosis. And when they say psychosis, they probably mean like actively talking to Slenderman and acting like a cat.
Okay.
Okay. It reduced her ability to recognize delusions against reality, which is what schizophrenia is. You cannot determine the difference between what you're imagining and what's actually in front of you. But in December 2015, she did begin a consistent long-term regimen of antipsychotic medications. It enabled her to understand what she had done and display appropriate feelings related to her crime, which is like guilt and remorse. And on March 23rd of 2016, Morgan was returned to the county jail to await trial. Although she was appropriately medicated, although she was making
strides
in her recovery, her mental health was completely deteriorated from the stress. And all the stressors on her already fragile mind. It says her deterioration was linked to stressors on her already fragile mental health that are typical to forced confinement and incarceration. During trial, Morgan was committed to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute, where she was the youngest patient. So Morgan was charged with attempted first-degree homicide, which is a Class A felony, and Anissa was charged with attempted second-degree homicide, which is a Class B felony. And due to the nature of the offenses, both Anissa and Morgan were waived out of the juvenile court and were to be tried as adults.
Yeah.
And I know that shocked a lot of people when that happened, because they were 12.
Yeah.
And I was actually excited that they were going to be tried as adults. I know I was only, maybe 2 years older than them, but what they did, I 100% believe they should have been tried as adults.
Yeah.
For me, it was more of how absolutely brutal the attack was.
Yeah.
Like, she was stabbed, how many times did I say?
She was stabbed a lot.
19 times. She was held down and stabbed 19 times.
That's disgusting.
And then just left for dead.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting.
I remember being like so hurt for her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, could you imagine? These are
yes,
supposed to be.
Yes, I can imagine.
Well, yeah, but these are supposed to be your two best friends.
At the time, I couldn't have imagined.
Like,
now,
that would be like if...
as a 25-year-old, I can't imagine.
That would be like if me and Blue...
Yeah.
...were to decide we're gonna go play hide and seek and hold you down and fucking stab you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even today, I have trouble, like, just trying to picture the emotional pain that she went through. I mean, obviously, they lay out right in front of you exactly the physical pain she went through, but...
Yeah.
Just, could you imagine trying to, like, recover from being so... Like, your friends attempted to murder you.
Yeah.
And they almost succeeded. Like, that's so crazy for a 12-year-old to have to go through. Like, that's...
I remember being very upset for what her nickname was, Bella?
Anissa pleaded guilty to being a party to the attempted second-degree homicide. A jury then found her not guilty by mental disease or defect. And Morgan accepted a plea offer that stipulated that she would not undergo a trial if she pleaded guilty and agreed to further evaluation by psychiatrists. No, psychiatrists. I'm sorry.
You're having a rough one today.
I am. To determine... I'm sorry. She would not have to undergo a trial if she pleaded guilty and agreed to further evaluation to determine appropriate duration of commitment to a forensic psychiatric hospital. She later pleaded guilty as arranged by the plea offer, but was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect due to the final diagnosis of schizophrenia by a court-appointed psychiatrist.
Okay.
So Anissa was sentenced to 25 years to life, an indeterminate sentence requiring at least 3 years confinement and involuntary treatment in a state forensic psychiatric institute, followed by communal supervision until the age of 37.
Okay, then.
Yeah. And then Morgan was given the maximum sentence, which was 40 years to life. She had the same requirements, so she had to have 3 years confinement in addition to involuntary treatment until complete resolution of symptoms or until age 53, whichever may happen first. If released, she will remain under communal supervision and undergo periodic reevaluations intended to identify need for reinstitution and or further treatment.
Yeah.
So she's never really free. Even when she gets out, if she ever has a lapse, she can go right back in.
Yeah.
At the hearing on March 10th, 2021.
Okay, so pretty recent.
Yeah. Anissa, who was then 19 years old, submitted a letter to the court stating that she was sorry and deeply regretful for the agony, pain, and fear I have caused. Not just to Bella, but to my community as well. Anissa stated that I hate my actions from May 31st, 2014, but through countless hours of therapy, I no longer hate myself for them.
Okay.
On July 1st, 2021, Judge Michael Boren ordered Anissa's release from the mental institute and gave state officials 60 days to draft a conditional release plan and required that Anissa be assigned Wisconsin Department of Health Services case managers to supervise her progress until she is 37 years old, the length of her commitment.
Okay.
On September 13th, 2021, Anissa was released with multiple stipulations, including a 24-hour GPS monitoring that required her to request permission before leaving the county. And on September 11th, 2023, the GPS stipulation was removed. Anissa's internet use is restricted and monitored as part of her supervised release, and she is not allowed to use any form of social media. Anissa is required to take court-mandated psychiatric medication and is escorted to regular counseling sessions by a caseworker. She is required to live with her father while under supervision of the court. So she has to live with her dad until she's 37.
Mm-hmm.
In 2020, an appeals court rejected Morgan's petition to be retired as a juvenile. Retried as a juvenile. I don't know why I said retired. Her attorney, Matthew Pinnix, argued that she should have been charged with attempted second-degree intentional homicide rather than first-degree, and argued that Morgan gave statements to investigators before being read her Miranda rights. He petitioned the Supreme Court of Wisconsin to review the ruling, and in early 2021, the Supreme Court declined to hear her appeal. In January of 2024, Morgan petitioned the court for release 2 years after withdrawing the petition in 2022. And 2 months after filing, a judge denied this request for release in a hearing in April of 2024. So very recently, she's still trying to get out.
Yeah. That's the one that didn't show remorse.
Yeah. So this is after the attack. The Creepypasta Wiki, which houses the bulk of the why did I say Superman? What the fuck is wrong with me? Slenderman lore. It was blocked throughout the Waukesha School District. And on June 5th, 2014, the Slenderman creator, Eric, released a statement of condolence. I am deeply saddened by the tragedy in Wisconsin, and my heart goes out to the families of those affected by this terrible act. A former administrator of the Creepypasta Wiki stated that the stabbing was an isolated incident and that did not accurately represent the creepypasta community. And he also argued that the Creepypasta Wiki is a literary website and that it's a community of creators and administrators, and they do not condone murder or satanic rituals.
No.
Yeah.
No. That's exactly... Don't condone
No,
murder.
I agree with you.
No.
They don't like...
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Good for them for making that statement, but I don't...
Well,
the fact that that statement is necessary is kind of fucked up.
Because a lot of people were putting the blame on the creepypasta website because their children should not have access to it, and it's their fault that it's not.
Here's the thing.
You should be restricting your own child's
Access
internet
to
access. But and I'm not blaming the parents for this. This girl was she was
sick.
Very, very sick. Doesn't excuse her actions.
No.
Absolutely not. But you can't blame a website because if it wasn't for Slenderman, it would have been for something else.
Yeah. If it wasn't Slenderman, it would have been Jeff the Killer. If it wasn't Jeff the Killer, it would have been...
If it wasn't creepypasta, it could have been something completely different.
It could have been a TV
book
show
that she read in the library at school. It could have been the Bible. It
Yeah.
could have been something.
Literally
would have captured
anything.
her attention like that.
Yeah.
You know? So, members of the creepypasta community held a 24-hour live stream on YouTube June 13th and 14th of 2014 to raise money for the then unnamed stabbing victim. Another administrator on the creepypasta website said that the purpose of the stream was to show that the members of the community do care for the victim and do not condone the real world violence.
Your husband just came up the stairs and scared the fuck out of me.
He's spooky. Governor Scott Walker issued a proclamation declaring Wednesday, August 13th, 2014, a Purple Hearts for Healing Day, and encouraged the people of Wisconsin... I'm gonna cry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm crying.
Because you're a little baby.
I am a little baby. He encouraged the people of Wisconsin to wear purple to honor the victim of the stabbing. He also praised the strength and determination exhibited by the victim during her recovery.
My first question is, was that her favorite color?
I think so. On August 29th, 2014, the city of Madison, Wisconsin, held a one-day bratwurst festival to honor the still unnamed survivor, and hot dogs and bratwurst were sold. So the event was run by over 250 volunteers and raised over $70,000. In October 24th of 2019, Bella, then 17 years old, spoke publicly about her experience for the first time to ABC 2020. She discussed her scars, saying, "I don't think much of them. They'll probably go away and fade eventually." She described how she met Morgan in 4th grade and became her friend because Morgan was alone a lot, and Bella wanted her to feel less alone. She also reported how Anissa, who Morgan introduced to Bella, had seemed jealous of the friendship between them and Morgan, between her and Morgan. When asked on what she would say if she ever saw Morgan again, Bella replied she would thank her because the attack inspired Bella to pursue a career in medicine.
You go, Bella.
In September of 2021, after Anissa's release, it was reported that Bella no longer lived in Waukesha and was attending an undisclosed college as a sophomore student.
Yeah, definitely should not give away her location.
No. So, in that interview, Bella said that she met Morgan in 4th grade.
Okay.
And then Morgan introduced Bella to Anissa.
Mm-hmm.
And Bella said that Anissa seemed jealous of Morgan and Bella's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to clarify that because I was very confused when I first read that sentence. I was like, what the fuck?
No, I understood it.
I get mixed up with because they use last names.
Yeah.
Geiser and Wire. And I keep forgetting which one's which, but it's Anissa Wire and Morgan Geiser. So, obviously, the stabbing did generate an extensive debate on the role of the internet in society and its effect on children. The police chief, Russell P., argued that the stabbing should be a wake-up call for all parents because although the internet is full of information and wonderful sites that teach and entertain, it can also be full of dark and wicked things. A retired agent of the FBI argued that the internet has become a black hole that risks exposing children to a more sinister world. And he suggested that parents should monitor their children's internet use and educate them on the differences between right and wrong.
Which, to be fair, like, the internet at that time
was very unregulated.
Yeah. Surface level, yeah, you could get a lot of entertaining shit. But, like, if you dived any deeper than just, like, surface level and you got into any forums, it was very dark. It was very, very dark.
Very dark. Like, I was never really on the internet. The most I was on was Omegle.
Which could be dark.
And was terrifying.
Yeah.
Shira Chess, an assistant professor of mass media arts at the University of Georgia, described creepypasta as no more dangerous than stories about vampires and zombies.
Yeah.
She argued that creepypasta websites are beneficial as creative communities that provide feedback and help participants become better writers. Which I agree with her.
100%.
It's the same thing as SCP. It's a complete collaborative writing prompt.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be taken seriously.
No. But when you're 13 and you don't...
When you're 13 and schizophrenic. We were 13.
Yeah.
I mean,
we just read them as
shit.
reading them, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be taken seriously. It's not real.
No. I can see it becoming obsessive.
Yeah.
Try not to let it be too obsessive.
So...
Parents, for the love of God, monitor your child's...
Absolutely.
Internet usage. I don't know. I
I'm
hope
so
Bella's...
very proud of Bella.
Yeah. I hope Bella's doing good.
I really hope so. She wanted to go in the medical field.
Yeah.
So sweet. And when she said she befriended Morgan because Morgan was alone and she didn't want her to feel so alone, and that little bitch decided to fucking stab her 19 fucking times. I guess she's schizophrenic, but Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Like...
Bella, I hope you kept your ray of sunlight.
Oh, that was so sweet. You're gonna make me cry.
Lady's always fucking crying over here.
Oh, God, I'm so emotional.
Yeah, that's why you're sunshine and I'm grumpy.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not very sunshine right now.
No, you're crying. Let's move on to our weird thought of the week. Our weird thought of the week are beanbags are just boneless sofas.
Ew.
You're welcome.
I don't like the boneless.
The boneless sofas.
Can I get a boneless pizza?
Can I get a boneless sofa? They give you a beanbag. Can I get a boneless chair? They give you a beanbag.
I think when I think of boneless, I just think of like gelatinous.
That's what beanbags are.
They're not gelatinous. They're full of beans.
They're
That's
pretty gelatinous. They're pretty gelatinous.
No, they're not.
They're pretty squishy.
They're soft. Sorry, I should have waited a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
They're soft. They're not squishy.
They're squishy.
No.
You just sink right into them. Go squish.
Just because you can like sink into it doesn't mean it's like squishy.
I guess it depends on what beans are in the beanbag.
Yeah, if it's one of those like foamy beans, then yeah, I would say squishy. But if it's like beans, like normal bean bags, where it's like little pellets, that's not squishy.
Yeah, it's squishy. It's pretty squishy.
Okay.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us.
Be kind and love yourselves. You know, like and subscribe.
Don't forget to share and maybe hydrate, you little creeps. Bye bitches.